Hey everyone, I'm James from SoundLink Magazine, and you're watching SoundlinkTV. Today I'm joined by Drew Hansen, bass player for Hawk and Awake at Last. How are you, Drew?
I'm great, James. How have you been?
Dude, bro, I am all over the place living life, man. You know how it is. Um, I'm so curious about your journey, man, because you were all over the place. First of all, are you from Delaware or where are you from?
I am not. I'm from Staten Island, New York.
Okay. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry. New York's crazy.
I know. Yeah. At least I guess it's not as bad as living in Delaware,
Don't get me started on living in Delaware, man.
right?
Um, I'm just curious about your path playing bass. Did you always play bass, or was it just like you played multiple instruments and decided on bass?
Yeah, I started on. Well, actually, I started on piano, but I never really took it seriously. Played piano probably starting when I was like 4, and then my piano teacher was actually a bass teacher as well. So I started playing bass when I was like 11, I would say, and then I actually started being like, oh wow, music is actually pretty cool. So yeah, I've been playing, I guess, like 11, 12 years.
When was your first time like joining a band? Like it's one thing to play an instrument, but then you're like, I'm gonna join a band.
Like what type, like band you're saying? Because I did all like the school band
I
shit, you
mean, we
know
got
how
to
it
know the
goes.
school band too.
Yeah, well, it was actually pretty cool because I mean, it's like in high school, my school bands actually did a lot. Like we went to Japan and shit. We uh we actually, I might be one of the only people who could say that I played for the Pope and then played in a deathcore band as well.
Wait,
But
wait, I need to know that story. You can't just throw that out and then we're gonna zoom past it.
yeah, it
Let me
was
let me
wild. My jazz band in high school, when Pope Francis came to the United States, like when he landed in New York at like JFK, we played for him, played a couple songs. As I'm sitting here wearing this crazy ass shirt that but yeah, no, that was sick. Seemed like a cool guy.
seem like a cool guy. All right.
That's all I could really, I didn't get to talk to him obviously or anything, but seemed like a cool guy.
R.I.P. to the Pope. Clearly,
R.I.P.
clearly the powers that be didn't work well for you.
I hope he's somewhere better.
That's such a wild story. I didn't was
Yeah.
not expecting that one. Um, so when did you get in touch with like Vince and them at Awake at Last?
So that was from, I think you met Imran before, right?
Yeah, I met
Yeah.
Imran and
So Imran, who used to be the guitarist of Wake Last, I was playing with, like I said, I used to be in a deathcore band. Like it was like a local band in New York. I was like senior year of high school. I was just graduating high school. It was actually the night I turned 18. Imran always jokes around. He says it's like a fucked up porno. Where he's like, the night you turned 18, I found you. But it is true. Like I was playing a show at some place in Staten Island, and he was there and he was just like, yo, we don't have a bassist right now. We're playing Warp Tour in like 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, Warp Tour, cool. So that's basically it. The rest is history with that. But yeah, I did that and then I officially started writing with them like after the Change album. So that was like maybe like 2021 I started actually writing, and before that I was just, touring with them and everything. Yeah.
I think I met you on. I think it was your first tour. I don't know. Jeff was still the drummer.
Nah,
One of the
that was probably after that cuz I think Jeff joined like a year after I did. I think you met us. What tour was that? Was it the Ice Nine tour, or did you meet us on
no,
the
I met
Icon tour?
you Icon.
Icon, yeah. So that was a couple years in. But yeah, I remember
So
that was like the first show of that tour, right? In
yeah,
North
I think so.
Carolina.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. You were on the Ice Nine tour.
Yeah.
Okay, I was curious how the hell you met Ricky and got up on that because I mean we're gonna get into that, but I was just curious because I didn't think you were. I was like,
Yeah, no, I was there for that, and then we did a couple songs on our last record with Ricky as well. So I'm
yeah,
like, I guess like between just like being with him like on the road, and then from there like actually being with him in the studio as well. He's like, oh, okay. And then that's how he found me.
he's like, all
Or at
right, this
least I
dude.
should say got acquainted enough with me to want me in the band, I guess.
Yeah, it's such a weird story. I don't know. I mean, it's all networking, and networking is the way to
Yeah,
go. And
that's everything.
that I'm just thinking that whole Wake at Last tour was fun. That Icon show was crazy in Greensboro. Some
Yeah.
guy Like they had, it was the most unhinged. It was like a deathcore pit for the opener. I don't even remember who the opener was, but somebody was like doing a full on like roundhouse kick, clocked the dude in the jaw, busted his jaw, and they had to bring paramedics in, and then you guys
Jeez.
have to follow.
Yeah, I don't
And
even remember that. That
I
was,
was
I
like,
guess that was Sumo Psycho, that
yeah,
Canadian band.
yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome too. We actually just played with them again a couple months ago at a festival in Baltimore.
I was like, what in the world am I
Yeah.
experiencing? Because I had never been to an Icon for Hire or
Hmm.
Sumo. What is happening?
Yeah, especially for like they're not a light band. Like they definitely like rock. They have cool riffs and shit, but they definitely rile the crowd up more than you would think for like what type of music they have.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
like
like there's people going crazy for their stuff.
so when you're learning music and you're doing all that, when did you start like wanting to write things?
That's actually a good question because I even when I first joined Awake at Last, I would like write the bass and everything for like my old band and stuff, and like I was always used to that. But like anything else, I never really had like a want to really write anything else for a bit. And then like once I started playing with Awake at Last and like went in the studio with them, and then like really started figuring out how everything else works, you know. And then from there, I was like, all right, now I could start. I feel like I actually want to start writing other stuff. And now at this point, I definitely write way more than I even play bass. So it's not that I don't play bass a lot. I'm still practicing as much as I can, but I definitely at this point consider myself more of like in my free time, like writing stuff rather than just practicing bass, and which is definitely a switch from what it used to be. But yeah,
Which do
I
you
now at this point I do like for Wake of Last, like we all write together, but it's like it's not like anyone's just writing their one instrument, you know, we're all still kind of like I'll write maybe a bunch of one song, and then Eric does a lot of the production and everything. So they'll write, him and Vince will write stuff, and then from there, because I'm in Staten Island, so I'm like 3 hours away from them. So like sometimes they'll write stuff and write the skeleton of the song, and then I'll come in, and then besides just doing bass, I'll add like a bunch of production stuff, maybe like a guitar part, things like that.
it's crazy that you mentioned Eric does the production because like my best friends in a band, Drag You Under in Delaware,
Hmm.
Eric did their EP. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the dude from Awake at Last. I was like, that shit's fire, dude.
What are they called again?
Drag You Under.
Drag You Under. I'll check them out.
Yeah, go shout out.
Oh yeah.
They're
No, he works a bunch on stuff, Eric. That's he's during the day he's doing all of his Amazon shit, running around all day.
that's the most Delaware shit.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
nothing
And then he
Delaware,
just
but
pours it all out into the music.
so looking at where you are currently, you're at Awake at Last, and you just dropped a song. It's a very catchy
He
song.
did.
Change, change,
Thank
change
you.
is very good. Um, and then you're also in another band, which we've touched on, Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I kind of want to dive more into that just to piece that together because that's such a most out of the blue like collaboration effort. I don't know. To me, because like first of all, they fell off the face of the earth for however many years. And then out of nowhere, they announce that they're coming back and they post the lineup. And I just see your fucking face with the green hair. And I'm like, what the hell? I was like, I didn't know this was happening. So
Hell yeah,
you
yeah.
mentioned the Ice Nine tour. Is that
Mm-hmm.
essentially where you got acquainted with them?
Yeah, definitely. That was when we did that was a full tour. That was like a little over a month, like a month and a half. But even before that, we did like a week, I want to say, with them when they were first. I think it was like right when they put out the first Silver Scream album, and that was like, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first shows or one of the first tours that Ricky was on with them. So we didn't really talk a whole lot then because it was only a few shows. And then we did the whole tour with them. Definitely like hung out a lot more. And then after that, like I said, we did a couple songs, I think 4 songs for our album with Ricky as well.
It's
And that was
crazy
a year or two later.
when you look at that freaking tour because it was Ice Nine, Fit for a King, Light the Torch, Make Them Suffer, and Awake at
Hmm.
Last. And I'm like, I love you guys, I do, but I just
Hmm.
that was such like a style change from what I think Awake
Yeah.
at Last does. I mean, currently you could kind of fit with that, but at the time I think it was post the change. and you
Hmm.
guys were just kind of getting into your current style. So I was like, this is a unique blend of
Yeah, it's
musicians.
definitely different, but I actually do I like it because it's like I get to do different stuff for both of them, you know. And even just strictly speaking, like style wise, Wake It Last, like just from a live standpoint, it's very bass driven, so a lot of parts that's just a bass line in the verses or something, and then like but it's like stuff that's like it's not simple, but at the same time, it's like simple enough where I'm just, I could just like vibe out, like just really be a bass player and like just really get into it. And then Hawk definitely has those parts as well, but it's a lot riffier, and it's fun to play stuff like that again because I haven't really. I don't want to say I turned my back on playing stuff like that. Like I still play a lot of like proggy stuff. Like I really love like Polyphia, animals as leaders, shit like that. So like I still have my chops up from that stuff, but at the same time, it was just like definitely kind of, oh, okay, we're back into this again. Like it's definitely not deathcore or anything, but it's definitely has some heavier elements and it's pretty fast at times. So that stuff, sometimes I have to just really be planted there playing like and like really focus on what I'm doing. But even then, it's still super fun, and we get to still move around a bunch. Everyone in that band is an incredible player, so it's really fun playing with that lineup.
And so when you look at that lineup, because that lineup is fucking stacked.
Hmm.
It's Ricky and Adam from Ice Nine, both of them. Adam, first of all, insane photographer. So I don't know if he
Hmm.
does your photography just in house. He just gets all y'all together and does it himself. I
He
don't
did
know.
so like those promos he did, and then Monto, one of our guitars, also is like a video dude. So like having them, and they have two different styles and workflows and everything when it comes to the video side of things. So it's like really cool, like when they collaborate on stuff like that. But yeah, all those pictures that was in Adam's room, like his like studio kind of thing, and we did all the promos. He would like line it up, like just figure it out, have someone stand in his place, and then he'd be like, "All right, cool. Now just press, just hit that button, and that's it."
He's got a little remote.
Yeah,
Uh,
that
then
would
there's
be
some
convenient. Yeah.
then there's some other guy, Cody from some group that nobody's ever heard of, Wu Tang Clan.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that's fucking wild. Again, stacked fucking card, dude.
Yeah.
And then there's Drew Hansen from Staten Island,
Yep.
New York. Did you ever think when you're growing up that you'd be like in a band with these insane powerhouses?
Um. I mean, everything that happens, still to this day, every day I'm surprised
Think back to the
with
Pope now,
shit that happens. Exactly. Yeah. At that point, I never thought I'd be playing any of this stuff. I really didn't know where I was gonna go. And then I think once I started playing with Awake at Last and like making some of those connections and everything, and then it's like, when I first joined and played with them, there was like some shows we would play, it's like no one there, and then you'll have like a couple like a year later or whatever, then it's like we're playing like a bunch of other shit that's like pretty drastically different from that, and it's just like kind of just all over the place. You never really know what you're gonna expect. And then even just moving on to Hawk, it's been a really good time. But yeah, it's actually funny. I want to bring it up because when you did say Cody, I always like telling this story. He actually, so like my parents have like a little like beach condo thing in Jersey, and we're there like all the time in the summer. And I never knew this, but Cody lived literally, or he lives still, like he lives right down the street from there. And even years ago, I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago, because it was when I was playing Warped Tour. My dad, I don't remember. I needed something. I was like telling him that like something happened to like one of my things. I was just gonna get it on tour anyway, but like he was just like driving down the street, and like anytime he like could try to help with something, he always likes to try to get involved. So he's like, "Oh, let me go to this music store and just see if they have." I don't remember what it was. Probably like a stand or something like that. And he goes in there, and sure enough, Cody was working there. And he's like, "Oh, my son, we live here, whatever." He's like, "Oh, I live right down the block." So he gave my dad his number, and he was like, "Oh, tell him we'll jam anytime." And of course, I never even hit him up or anything. And then years later, like last year, Cody's like, and my dad are like, "I'm pretty sure you're the guy I met and everything." We pulled up my dad's phone. Sure enough, it was Cody. So misconnection there, but I guess if it happened eventually, it happened for a reason. But it's just a
You
funny
could be in
story.
Wu Tang right now, Drew. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know, I know. We just
Uh,
actually saw them the other 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and it was great. It was really awesome seeing Cody play in like that kind of context.
it's crazy to me that again we're following this whole path of you know performing for the fucking Pope to deathcore to metalcore, whatever. I remember specifically my favorite story of you is you were playing at Blue Ridge with Awake at Last, and first of all, I'm the fucking diehard. I was front row singing every word to every song. I'm just saying. I
You
deserve a
were.
shout. um, but then I'm walking around and it's main stage, and I look over and I was like, "There's Drew," and you're just over there vibing. Like, is that something you just, as a fan of music, you're just like, I get to do this cool shit. I'm gonna go and just watch these cool fucking bands just play. Not like you
Yes.
just were on a fucking stage two
That's
hours
that's my
ago.
favorite part of it. It's just at the end of the day, I think anyone who is a musician and plays in a band, you're doing it because you're a fan of music. So just playing in these different situations and just being able to be there and see some of these bands that you just listen to forever, whether it's for a festival or a whole tour. It's really awesome to be a part of that. And yeah, I mean, sometimes on tour, you're playing the same thing every night. Eventually, you could have nights where it's like, oh, like, I'm just like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I don't want to go in there right now, but it's like, still, you get up there, you play, you're like, this is the best shit ever. Like, there's nothing else I'd want to really do. So it's really awesome getting to just do that and just play with so many great bands all the time.
What is like your top favorite bands? Like I don't even know that, and I just like I know you're a fan of deathcore, but like what is your
I really
favorite?
don't even. It's funny. I don't really listen to that much deathcore anymore.
Son of a bitch,
Not really
Drew.
metalcore. Not rock. Like it's just. I don't know. My. I'm just constantly changing what I'm listening to. But at this point, like I listen to like my favorite band for a while has been like Brand New, like emo stuff, like Brand New. I really love Lil Peep, Kill Station, all that like stacked vocal sounding stuff. Then older stuff like, well, I guess like 90s, like Nine Inch Nails. Really big into like The Cure, Talking Heads, which is more 80s. All that stuff. Yeah. New bands though, like for like the rock scene, I guess you could say. The most I'll listen to, like I really like Health is probably my favorite right now. And I guess they're not really like that active rock sound or anything, but they're definitely one of my favorites right now.
When you're piecing together your sound as a bass player, when you're like, this is who I kind of want to mimic myself
Hmm.
after. When you're learning that process, who were some of the bands you were kind of pulling from for inspiration? Like, I'm trying to learn this song. Second, I get a fucking guitar, dude.
Yeah. Definitely like when I first started, Flea was the big one for me. I loved Red Hot Chili Peppers, still do to this day. But Flea and just the way he like incorporates slap and just funk into rock music is something that like I try to just push more and more, like as much as I can. I think at this point now, both Awake at Last and Hawk are like more receptive to that, which is like I've never been like the type who comes into the studio as like I'm gonna just slap all over this song and everything and be like, look at me. Like I actually like for the longest time really like even though I practiced that stuff, never really wanted to do that in the music just because I'm like, oh, this doesn't fit. And I've just always kind of like had that outlook and like I would still write stuff on my own that like had all that stuff in it, but like for like my bands at least I never really wanted to push that too much until like recently or the last couple years I've been doing like more like the double thumbing stuff, like Polyphia and like again like Animals Leaders, even though that's Tosin Abasi's a guitarist, but for all purposes I say he's a bassist playing guitar. But stuff like that, I feel like that stuff with the percussive dead notes and everything really can work in rock and metal. So I've been trying to do more of that in our stuff. My other favorites, I really like Lewis Johnson, like Marcus Miller, like the older slap guys. So again, just more slap stuff. But yeah, those would definitely be my favorites.
I'm just thinking back at just all this crazy shit that you've done in your sound. Um, when you're looking back at things and you're like, I'm going to implement this into my style, and you're doing all that. You've mentioned that they're kind of both bands are kind of receptive to that.
Mhm.
Is there a way, like the way you write as well as the way you play, that kind of goes hand in hand? Do you do lyrics as well, or do you just simply write the instrumentals?
Yeah, for both bands, like definitely, I'd say Hawk, like the last couple things they're doing, like it's a really cool, um, like process because it is like kind of like everyone's involved with it. And like even though like Ricky's doing a lot of it, he still like always is like, oh, what do we think of this, what do we think of that, like always he shoots out more ideas than like anyone that I know. Like he's just constantly changing something until it's like exactly how he likes it. So a lot of that, he definitely asks a lot for feedback, although most of the lyrics are just really him. Like, oh, if anyone's like a melody idea, things like that, like we'll help out what we can. Same with the Wake of Last, but for the most part, yeah, both singers write most of their own lyrics.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just cool to me, the whole situation, and I'm like,
Mm.
you're closer to Awake at Last. I don't know where Ricky and them live, but um, how far are
Actually,
you from?
ooh, it's like fun. It's like pretty much the same. Like it depends who you're talking about at Waco Last, because it's like Vince lives like about an hour further from me than Eric does, but then Ricky only lives like 2 hours, 2.5 hours from me. So it's kind of just they're all around roughly the same. It's
That
going to
was
be a little bit of a hike either way.
Well, that was more of my point. Is like when you have to go to practices or you have to hop on a tour. First of all, how do you manage those two at the same time? Like you're trying to write one thing, you're trying to tour with another thing. Like it's a lot to manage in two things. I think that's kind of what you see with Hawk. And like, yeah, you're putting out music, but there's a timetable for this. Like it's not like we're gonna keep putting out albums and albums every year. Like you're gonna put out a single here, a single there. Do you find it challenging to kind of juggle both?
Um, so far it hasn't been too rough because I mean, both that like Awake Last, we kind of do what we can, like just mainly just like writing stuff here or there. We'll go on a tour, like we did, I think like maybe like one bigger tour this year. Like we did tour of the Sky that Drive a couple months ago. That was like I made maybe like a month like in total. But like other than that, like I've only been playing with Hawk for like and writing with them for maybe like 2 years, and we only did our first shows this year. So it hasn't really there hasn't been too much conflict yet. I did have to miss one Awake at Last show so far, and it was right before the first talk show because we did Shiprocked this year, and it was like the night before Shiprocked was an Awake at Last show. We were playing in Baltimore, and I was like, I technically could, if I really wanted to, play the show and try to get out to Florida, but then it's like you miss that boat, you're missing that boat, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I just had to sit that one out. But yeah, other than that, it hasn't been too conflicting, even like next month, Hawk is doing a tour. We're doing like a tour like late September to like early October, and as far as I know, there's nothing that's going to be conflicting with that with the Wake of Last, but you never know.
what has been like the favorite show that you've done so far? I know you played Blue Ridge and you said you played Shiprock. What has been that favorite fucking festival show, whatever? Which one was like, holy shit, I can't believe I just did that?
Um, hmm, a couple good ones. I mean, there was a lot of ones again on that Ice Nine tour actually that were really cool. I remember one in specific that when they did like the DVD thing for in like Worcester in Massachusetts, for, like their hometown. That was really cool. Um, and that was like some of them were really cool on that tour. Yeah, the festivals have always been great. I remember like Incarceration being really cool. And then honestly, yeah, I loved Shiprocked. Shiprocked. I didn't know what to expect, especially like it being like an actual full cruise with like And just like I mean, I'm indifferent to cruises. I'm not like I don't love them. I don't hate them. I just was like, all right, you know, it is what it is. Let's do this. I'm sure it's gonna be kind of fun. Like, but I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know like not that like we're a huge band or anything, but like even like some of these bigger bands, like the headliners on that, like I was like wondering like how the fans would react. You know, like just like seeing people walking around, like if they would like be like super like not nosy or anything, but just like, being all over everyone, and like it wasn't like that at all. Like everyone on it, like that whole shipwrecked like crew, they really are just like it's like a family. They really like they're all the same people go every year apparently. Like they were all like so cool. Like you want to hang out with all of them because it was just like it was a really good time, and then even just like connecting with other bands on that, like, because it's different, like, a festival, it's always fun because it's like you have your slot, but it's an all day thing. And like you find other bands on that like you've toured with or know, and it's like, then you can go watch other bands with them and stuff. But it's like still that's one day, so it's like an entire week of that, whereas like you're with the same people every day. It was really cool.
I can't imagine being on a cruise ship like that. I'd like to do it. I'd rather do Incarnation personally,
Uh-huh.
uh, just because tattoos and music, you can't fucking go wrong.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but like, I don't know if it'd be safe to go on a cruise with you, Drew. I don't know. Are you
Yeah,
unhinged on a crew, dude?
I got a little rowdy. I got a little rowdy. It was
Off the ship.
yeah, it was really cool. And that's the other thing. There's always something going on. So it's like you never wanted to go to sleep because it's like, oh, what am I gonna miss tonight? Like
Yeah.
so like it was by the end of it, I was like, I need like a day or two of rest. And we did. We had like a couple days before the actual tour we did after that. But yeah, it was like by the end of that, I was like a zombie, because it's like you're up until like 5 every day. I was just like, I gotta chill out.
God bless you. All right, guys. I'm James from SoundlinkTV, and this is Drew Hansen from Hawk and Awake at Last. Thank you all for watching.